What can they expect with this weather?
Well, weather's going to be an issue early this morning and then later today for two different reasons. Earlier this morning, we're talking dense fog, and then after the dense fog, we're talking about rain. So you've definitely got some problems ahead on the roads. That is going to reduce traffic even more. Dense fog advisories in effect for most of our area. That's through 11 o'clock this morning. Look at the current visibilities. Beverly, Bedford, Boston, 0.3 of a mile. Nashua, it's close to 0. So be very careful. Give yourself that extra distance. If your car has fog lights, definitely use those. Otherwise, we are dry for now. A couple maybe isolated spots of drizzle, but the rain is to our southwest. That's going to continue to roll in over the next couple days. So rain showers at 11 a.m., 43 degrees. Temperatures increase as the day goes on. Boston 40s most of the day, north and west of that 30s and 40s, south and east of Boston 40s and 50s. 3 o'clock, just an isolated shower chance, 45. And then as we get later into the afternoon, evening, we're just talking about a chance for some isolated drizzle. Warmer temperatures, though, by late tonight, most of us are actually going to be close to the 50-degree mark. That does include Boston, right near 48 degrees at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, downpours and wind. I've got that detail coming up.
Ground.
No, and a lot of it actually melted yesterday. And if all of your snow didn't melt yesterday, it's definitely going to melt today. This morning, we're talking about fog over the next couple of hours. Be very careful. Visibility is significantly reduced in spots like Bedford, Boston, Beverly, and Norwood, and honestly for a lot of the rest of the area as well. In terms of the radar, I know it looks completely dry out there. Don't forget, drizzle droplets are so incredibly tiny. The radar doesn't always see it. It's like you're walking along a sidewalk and you're trying to spot a grain of sand on the ground. It's kind of difficult, right, because it's so tiny. So same thing with the radar. So there may be drizzle out there that you're not seeing. Steady rain rolls in over the next couple of hours. Rain chances peak around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, noontime, 1 o'clock. And then as we get to 3, 4 o'clock, the steadier but light rain ends. And then we're just talking about an isolated shower chance, isolated sprinkle, isolated drizzle chance for the rest of the day. The rain today is light. That changes tomorrow, though. So here's 10 a.m. You can see a couple showers in spots, but it really becomes more widespread as we get toward 11 o'clock in noontime. I know this shows us pretty much dry by about 3 and 4 o'clock, but again, isolated shower chance. Could be some spotty drizzle, and at the very least, the gray clouds are going to be sticking around. Now, we have more rain on the way for tomorrow. It starts early in the morning, and the biggest difference is look how much more widespread and heavier this rain is. So this is 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So say good luck to you for your morning commute, because at 8 a.m. it is going to be downpouring across the area. That continues through about noontime, 1 o'clock tomorrow. After that, we do dry out pretty quickly, but this rain does come with some wind tomorrow. And because of the heaviness of the rain, because of the wind, I really suggest a raincoat rather than an umbrella. An umbrella with wind and how heavy it is just not going to do enough to keep you dry if it doesn't even break, that is. Now, southeastern Mass and the Cape tomorrow morning, we're talking wind gusts 35, 40 miles an hour for Boston, closing in on 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. As the rain exits, though, the wind lightens up a little bit. So as we get toward the late afternoon and evening, we're just talking about a little bit of a slight breeze rather than the significant wind. So in terms of temperatures, today it's kind of interesting, widely variable today. Boston 40s most of the day. If you're north and west of that, you'll see 30s and 40s. And if you're south and east of Boston, you'll see 40s and 50s. Everyone catches up later tonight, though, closing in on 50 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be mild for everyone, mid to the upper 50s. Tuesday, New Year's Eve, close to 50. New Year's Day, 48 degrees, which is way warmer than average for this time of year. New Year's Eve at midnight in Boston, 42 degrees, about a 40% chance of rain. That chance does increase as we get to New Year's Day. So rain for today. Rain and wind for tomorrow, dry for Tuesday during the day, rain overnight, then a cool down comes in Friday into Saturday. Temperatures, a bit of rain today and also some dense fog out there. We do have this dense fog advisory in effect through 11 o'clock in the morning. I've got more details on that forecast coming up.
2024 left.
Yes, a couple days left. It's not going to feel like it's in the middle of winter, though, because temperatures are going to be so warm. It's actually part of the reason why we have so much fog out there. Warm air moves in, the cooler ground below cools it to the dew point, and then you actually get, well, water condensing near the surface, which is what fog is. It's basically just a cloud on the ground. It's really cloudy out there, really foggy out there. And even as the fog lifts, the clouds are going to be sticking around. And then after the fog lifts, then we're talking about rain. It's really just not the nicest day. Here's the visibility, though. It's being significantly reduced all across our area. Look at Boston, for example. 0.3 of a mile is your visibility right now. So give yourself that extra distance between you and the car in front of you. Radar looks dry. There may be some spots of drizzle out there. The drizzle droplets are so tiny they don't always show up on the radar. You can see the steadier rain to the southwest, though. That's going to be moving in over the next couple of hours. So rain chances peak 10, 11 o'clock noontime, 1 o'clock. After that, drying out. Temperatures warm as the day goes on. Most of us close to 50 degrees late tonight. Rain ahead tomorrow. Details on that coming up.
And we're following breaking news.
Running into traffic, but weather issues. Right now, it's already foggy. And then later this morning, over the next couple of hours, you've got the rain rolling in. Later on today, drying out, but there still may be some spotty drizzle, so roads could still be damp, and it's still going to be cloudy. So it's overall just not the best day. Here's the visibility map, though. Worcester has some serious fog and seriously reduced visibilities. Same with Boston, same with a lot of our regions. So just be careful. If your car has fog lights, use them. Give yourself the extra distance between you and the car in front of you. Radar looks empty, I know that, but don't forget drizzle droplets are really, really tiny. It's like you're walking on a sidewalk, you're trying to spot a grain of sand on the sidewalk. It's going to be a little bit difficult because it's so small, right? That's kind of what happens with drizzle. The radar just doesn't always see it. But you can see the steady rain to our south and west. That's going to roll in over the next couple of hours. So rain chances peak around 10 o'clock, especially 11 o'clock noontime, 1 o'clock. As we get to 3 and 4 o'clock, rain starts to break up, become more isolated. But even the rest of the day, I don't want to rule out an isolated light shower, isolated sprinkle, isolated drizzle either. And the clouds are certainly going to be sticking around at the very least. So here's 10 o'clock. Rain for some of us already, but 11 o'clock and noon, most of us have rain. It is going to be relatively light, which is the good news. And yes, I know this shows us dry by about 3 and 4 o'clock, but again, isolated shower, isolated drizzle, isolated sprinkles, not out of the realm of possibility. Wait till you see what's ahead for tomorrow. Even more rain, and it's going to be a lot heavier too. And this is going to be accompanied by wind. So I really suggest you ditch the umbrella and go with a raincoat. 2 a.m. you have rain across central Mass already, but look, there goes your morning commute. 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, downpours. That's the oranges and reds you're seeing is the heaviest of the rain. That rolls out pretty early. I mean, by 1, 2 o'clock, most of us dry, which is the good news, and the wind is going to subside after the rain rolls through. So 9 a.m., though, Boston, southeastern Mass, you're talking 30, 35, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. As you get to the afternoon hours, wind lingers the longest on the Cape, and then by the Monday evening hours, it's just going to be slightly breezy. But again, all the more reason to have a raincoat rather than an umbrella. And then temperatures today kind of doing interesting things. Boston in the 40s most of the day. North and west of Boston, 30s to 40s. South and east of Boston, 40s to 50s. And then by 10 o'clock tonight, almost everyone catches up close to the 50-degree mark. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the mid to the upper 50s for highs. Incredibly mild. New Year's Eve, you're at 50. And Wednesday, New Year's Day, you're at 48 degrees. Speaking of New Year's Eve, right at midnight, Boston, 42 degrees. About a 40% chance for rain, which only increases as we go throughout the night. So your 7-day forecast, 48 today, clouds, fog, mist, rain for today, rain and wind tomorrow in the 50s. Tuesday, dry during the day, rain rolls in during the nighttime, rain continues into Wednesday. After that, the cool down is back and it's looking chilly. Thursday down to 40, Friday down to 36 and breezy. Saturday, partly sunny, you're down to 34 degrees. And if we actually look a little bit farther into the week after, it's looking very likely colder than average. Extra distance because not only do we have the fog this morning, later today, it's still going to be cloudy, some drizzle, some light rain, especially as we get to the early afternoon. So a lot of hurdles to get across if you're going to be driving around Massachusetts for today. The dense fog advisory from the National Weather Service, that goes until 11 o'clock in the morning. And then look at some of the visibilities we have. 0.3 of a mile for Nashua, Bedford, Beverly, Boston, going into Norwood, for example, even Worcester. So that's a significant reduction in the visibility. So you really need to give yourself that extra distance between you and the car in front of you. There may be some drizzle out there, not always, it doesn't always show up on the radar, but it may be out there. But the steady rain is to the south and west of us. That's going to continue to roll in over the next couple of hours. So 11 a.m., most of us looking at rain, 43. Temperature increases as the day goes on. Boston 40s, north and west of that 30s and 40s, south and east of that 40s and 50s. Everyone warms up to close to 50 degrees by late tonight, though. Again, temperature increases as the day goes on, which is unusual. 3 o'clock, 45, 7 o'clock, 48 degrees. Rest of the day, afternoon, evening, isolated shower or isolated drizzle. Downpours for tomorrow. Details on that coming up.
We have breaking news from overseas.
Exactly right. I mean, if you look at the visibility map, things are not looking good. And well, we have reduced visibility through about 10, 11 o'clock this morning. Then we're talking about the rain, and then we're talking about the clouds and the drizzle. And it's going to be tough out there. A lot of different weather hurdles that you're going up against if you're going to be traveling on the roads across Massachusetts for today. Worcester visibility is close to 0. Boston 0.3 of a mile. Keep in mind that's at the airport. But Bedford 0.3 of a mile. Beverly 0.3 of a mile. You've got a rough go of it. Be careful. Give yourself extra distance between you and the car in front of you, especially if you're going on highway speeds. So here's the radar. I know it looks bone dry. Keep in mind, drizzle droplets are teeny, teeny, tiny, so the radar doesn't always see them. So there may be some drizzle out there that you're not seeing on the radar. But the steadier rain, that's still to our south and west, and it's tracking north-northeast. So that is going to continue to move in over the next couple of hours. Rain chances peak 10, 11 o'clock, noontime, 1 o'clock. And then as we get to 3, 4 o'clock, rain becomes a little bit more isolated. Still, though, the rest of the day, all the way into the evening hours, I do not want to rule out an isolated light shower, isolated sprinkle, isolated drizzle, and at the very least, the clouds are going to be sticking around for the rest of the day. So again, you've got a couple challenges ahead of you on the roads today. So this is 11 o'clock this morning. Tells the story nicely. You can see the light rain out there for most of us already. That continues into noontime, 1 o'clock, and then as we get to 2, 3, 4 o'clock, it shows us drying out completely. But again, an isolated shower, isolated sprinkle, isolated drizzle, it's all a possibility for the rest of the day. And then tomorrow, more rain ahead, and it's going to be heavier, and it's going to be accompanied by some wind. So it only gets worse as we head into tomorrow, although it does clear out earlier in the day. It does roll in for the morning commute, so your morning commute is going to be a slow go of things. 7, 8, 9 o'clock, you have the rain already heavy in some locations. That dries out by about noontime, 1 o'clock, though, and then the rest of the day, it's actually looking quite a bit better. But it's going to be accompanied by wind. Look at the winds, 10 a.m., Boston area south and east, 30, 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts as it's raining. So make sure you have a raincoat rather than an umbrella. Won't be a pretty picture. You're not going to be kicking off the new week on a good note if you go in with an umbrella instead of a raincoat. And then as the rain exits, the wind does too. So by the evening hours, it's just going to be slightly breezy, but it'll be windy during it. So temperatures today doing interesting things. Boston in 40s during the most of the day. North and west of that 30s and 40s. South and east of that 40s and 50s. Everyone catches up near 50 degrees tonight. 50s for tomorrow. 50 for Tuesday. 48 on Wednesday. Yes, incredibly warm. New Year's Eve at midnight. 42 in Boston. 40% chance of some showers. So warm over the next couple days. Rain for today, rain and wind for tomorrow. Drier Tuesday, rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. Then the cool down back to business begins Thursday near 40, but Friday, Saturday, all the way getting down. It is very foggy, so be very careful, especially with the increased traffic we have out on the roads. And it's fog this morning, and then later this morning, over the next couple of hours, rain's going to roll in, and then that rolls out later this afternoon, and then it's still going to be cloudy and a little bit drizzly in spots. So it's still not going to be the nicest day. We do have some isolated drizzle, isolated sprinkles out there right now. The steadiest of the rain, though, is still to the south and west, but that is going to build in over the next couple of hours. So 11 a.m., noon, 1 o'clock are when the rain chances peak. And then as we get to 2, 3, 4 o'clock, we're starting to dry out. But here's the thing. Even the rest of the day after that, I still don't want to rule out an isolated light shower, an isolated sprinkle, isolated drizzle. And at the very least, the clouds are going to be sticking around once the rain is done. So again, not exactly a beautiful day. 11 a.m., you can see the rain showers across most of our area. Same with noon. 1 o'clock, it's definitely more towards southern New Hampshire, northern Massachusetts. And yes, it shows us drying by about 3, 4 o'clock. But again, there could still be an isolated shower or some spotty drizzle, mist even as we go throughout the rest of the day. Same with overnight. And then tomorrow we're chatting downpours, actually. Rain moves in pretty early in the morning. For the morning commute, the rain's going to be heavy at times. It starts lighter, but then it gets heavier later in the morning, drying out pretty quickly by about noontime, 1 o'clock tomorrow. And then the wind is going to accompany the rain too. So I really suggest you do not use an umbrella for tomorrow. Today will be fine, but use a raincoat for tomorrow because it's going to be breezy. Here's 10 a.m., 30, 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts up and down the coast, southeastern Mass, Cape and the Islands. As the rain exits, the wind dies down with it, and it's as we get to tomorrow evening that it's just going to be slightly breezy, but still plenty of wind throughout the day tomorrow. So today, temperatures doing some interesting things. Boston in the 40s most of the day. Again, north and west of Boston, 30s and 40s. South and east of Boston, 40s and 50s. But we all kind of catch up late tonight. Temperatures nearing the 50-degree mark. Temperatures going to rise even into the nighttime hours as we go toward today and tonight. And then mid to the upper 50s for highs tomorrow. Right? Average high is 39, by the way. 50 on Tuesday, 48 degrees on Wednesday. So very warm over the next couple of days. New Year's Eve right at midnight in Boston. 40% chance of rain. Chances of rain are higher after midnight, but it's still not a negligible percentage of rain, of course. 42 degrees, so at least it's not going to be bitterly cold. So rain today, rain and wind tomorrow, rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. Very mild during that period, but then look at Thursday into Friday from 40 down to the 30s. A little bit of a wind Thursday, Friday is going to make it feel a lot colder. And then if we actually look ahead to next week, not this upcoming week, but next week, as in after Saturday, temperatures are going to start getting really cold once again.
A retired Massachusetts state is left of 2024.
And if a lot of people are going to be traveling on the roads today because of that, and they've got some hurdles ahead of them. I mean, we're looking at very dense fog out there right now. Later this morning, over the next couple of hours, the rain's going to roll in. And then even though we dry out for the steady rain this afternoon, there may still be some spots of mist and drizzle throughout the day, and at the very least some clouds. So it's definitely going to be a tumultuous day on the roads, especially with the added traffic. Now, the dense fog advisory does go for another hour or so. National Weather Service has yet to extend it. If they do, I'll let you know. But current visibility, 0.3 of a mile for a lot of us. So slow down as you're driving around. Give yourself that extra distance. There's a couple sprinkles on the radar in some spots, isolated drizzle. The steadiest of the rain still to the southwest. That does roll in over the next couple of hours, and temperatures are actually going to rise from now all the way through midnight tonight. Most of us by 10 and 11 o'clock tonight are actually going to be nearing the 50-degree mark, so a very mild day ahead. And again, the steadiest of the rain falling over the next couple of hours, tapering off as the day goes on, except for an isolated drizzle. Tomorrow, downpours and wind, too. I've got those details coming up. Yes, very aware, especially on the roads this morning. I mean, even right now, we still have that reduced visibility. This has been hanging on for hours now. A lot of fog out there. Reduced visibility is down to 0.3 of a mile in spots like Worcester, Bedford, Nashua, Beverly, Boston, for example, even all the way in Norwood. So be careful on the roads. Give yourself that extra distance and take it slow. So we definitely have some isolated drizzle out there, a couple sprinkles. The steadiest of the rain is yet to move in, but it will move in over the next couple of hours. We see the end of the steady rain by about 2, 3, 4 o'clock, but even the rest of the day, I don't want to rule out some spotty mist, spotty drizzle, and at the very least, the clouds are going to be sticking around. So as I mentioned, rain chances highest over the next couple of hours, but by the afternoon, the steadiest of the rain is going to be done. Still, the rest of the day, isolated shower, isolated sprinkle, isolated drizzle, some spotty mist is going to stick around. Noontime, here's a look at the picture of what we're expecting. It's pretty widespread, but notice it is light. I will tell you that. Not expecting downpours today. That does change tomorrow, though. So noontime, 1 o'clock, the rain's moving through. Steadiest of the rain done by 3, 4 o'clock. Isolated sprinkle, isolated drizzle the rest of the day. Overnight, we see that, too. And then another round of rain ahead for tomorrow, and there goes your morning commute. It's going to be a slow one. Rain starts light. It gets heavier as the morning goes on. I will say, though, it moves out pretty quickly. By about noontime, 1 o'clock, most of us are going to be completely dry, and then maybe even a little bit of sun right before sunset as we get through Monday. So today you can get away with an umbrella. Don't suggest it for tomorrow because the rain's going to be heavier, and on top of that, it's going to be very windy as it's actively raining. So we're talking 30, 35, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts tomorrow morning as it's raining. The wind does subside a little bit as we get to the afternoon. Very windy on the Cape, and then as we get to tomorrow evening, it's just going to be a little bit breezy. And then temperatures for today, 40s for most of Boston. North and west of Boston, temperatures in the 30s and 40s. South and east of Boston, temperatures 40s and 50s as the day goes on. Everyone eventually catches up actually late tonight. Temperature will continually rise through midnight tonight, which is not the typical trend we see. But temperature is going to near 50 degrees by late tonight. And then tomorrow, most of the day in the 50s. I mean, highs into the upper 50s, which considering the average high is 39, pretty warm. So if all your snow didn't melt yet, a lot of it did, then it definitely will over the next couple days. Tuesday, 50, and then Wednesday, 48 degrees. Speaking of New Year's Eve, by the way, New Year's Eve at midnight in Boston, about a 40% chance for a shower. Chances increase after that, but 40% is not exactly negligible, right? And then the temperature is going to be right near 42 degrees, meaning it's not going to be bitterly cold, which is one way of looking at it. For today, rain, fog, mist. Tomorrow, rain and wind. Very mild, still mild Tuesday, rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's New Year's Day, 48 degrees. Thursday, we're back down to 40. It'll be windy, so it'll feel like the 30s. And then Friday, it's going to be breezy, so temperatures reaching the 30s in the afternoon, feeling like the 20s. And then we're still stuck in the 30s as we head into next Saturday.
This week.
That's right. We're getting up to the 50s. And then in the meantime, we're dealing with some fog and eventually some rain, too. That forecast coming up.
Also ahead of
It actually looks like it's lifting a little bit off the ground, which is great news. But we still have the dense fog advisory in effect till 11 o'clock. There's still going to be some low clouds that linger a little bit longer than that. And then we're talking rain. So we have reduced visibilities no matter what way you're looking at, whether it's clouds on the ground or whether it's actually the rain. So you can see it's starting to clear a little bit in some spots, but most of us still have the fog sticking around. So be careful. Give yourself extra time to drive to where you need to get so you can slow down and give yourself extra distance. The steadiest rain is to the south and west of us. Temperatures, funky things today. 40s for Boston. North and west of Boston, 30s and 40s. South and east of Boston, 40s and 50s. But eventually everybody catches up late tonight. Temperatures going to continuously rise overnight into tomorrow. Tonight nearing the 50-degree mark. So most widespread rain this morning over the next couple of hours. Afternoon, the steady rain moves out, but then we're talking about an isolated shower risk or a chance for some isolated drizzle or some isolated mist as well. Tomorrow, we're actually talking downpours and wind. More on that coming up.
breaking news, fog.
That's right. A lot of fog, even still right now. And then later today, the rain continues to roll in. So visibility is still reduced in spots like Worcester, Bedford, Boston, Norwood, Providence. Best piece of advice I can give you: slow down on the roads. Give yourself extra distance between you and the car in front of you. Rain starting to roll in. It's very, very light, though. So rain chances peak from about now, because it's starting to move into central Mass, through about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then after 3, 4 o'clock, the steadiest rain's going to be done. And then we're just tracking a chance for some spotty drizzle, spotty mist, clouds sticking around. There may be some drizzle out there right now in spots that look dry on the radar, but the radar just doesn't always see it because drizzle droplets are so incredibly tiny. So rain chances, again, peaking over the next couple of hours, dwindle into the afternoon. That's the steady rain. Spot sprinkles, spotty drizzle for the rest of the day, and at the very least cloudy, so not the nicest day out there. There's noontime, for example. 1 o'clock starting to get farther north, and yes, it shows dry by 3, 4 o'clock, but again, this doesn't really show drizzle or mist, so we do have that chance for the rest of the day. And then rain rolls in again overnight into tomorrow morning, and your morning commute's going to be a wet one, and I really suggest not to use an umbrella and instead to use a raincoat, because the rain's going to be heavier. In fact, it'll start light but get heavier as the morning goes on. And then we also have some wind. So raining by 8 o'clock for most of us as we continue throughout the day, drying out by about noontime, 1 o'clock. So drying out much quicker tomorrow. And there may be a little bit of sun tomorrow right before sunset. But look at the wind. So this is why I'm suggesting a raincoat. 11 a.m. still raining, but look, you've got wind gusts 30, 35, 40 miles an hour across Cape and the islands and across coastal areas, still breezy inland. In fact, it doesn't become less windy until we get into Monday evening when you have just a slight breeze. But in the morning and early afternoon especially, there's going to be noticeable wind that you are not going to want to have to be holding an umbrella during. So temperatures today, interesting things. Boston is kind of right in the middle, so you're going to be in the 40s for most of the day. North and west of that, 30s and 40s. South and east of Boston, 40s and 50s, a little bit warmer. But all of us kind of catch up to the southeast and the Cape temperatures late tonight. That's right. Temperature is going to increase from now through the overnight hours into tomorrow. It steadily rises. No overnight cool down. So we're all going to be close to 50 degrees later tonight. And then throughout the day, temperature warms up a little bit from there. But no matter what way you're looking at it, I mean, 50s is incredibly mild for this time of year. Near 50 for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, 48 degrees. Speaking of New Year's Eve, right around midnight for Boston, about a 40% chance for rain. That chance increases after midnight, 42 degrees. So not bitterly cold, but 40s and rain is definitely not the best forecast I've ever seen for New Year's Eve. So rain for today, fog, mist, A little bit drizzly at times. Rain and wind tomorrow, very mild. Then rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. Drying out for Thursday, Friday. Here comes the cool down, though. Near 40, but windy, so feeling colder. Breezy on Friday, but in the 30s. And then as we look ahead to next week, 34 degrees. And then the week after that actually looks bitterly cold.
A retired Massachusetts left of 2024.
And if a lot of people are going to be traveling on the roads today because of that, and they've got some hurdles ahead of them. I mean, we're looking at very dense fog out there right now. Later this morning, over the next couple of hours, the rain's going to roll in. And then even though we dry out for the steady rain this afternoon, there may still be some spots of mist and drizzle throughout the day, and at the very least some clouds. So it's definitely going to be a tumultuous day on the roads, especially with the added traffic. Now, the dense fog advisory does go for another hour or so. National Weather Service has yet to extend it. If they do, I'll let you know. But current visibility, 0.3 of a mile for a lot of us. So slow down as you're driving around. Give yourself that extra distance. There's a couple sprinkles on the radar in some spots, isolated drizzle. The steadiest of the rain still to the southwest.